Hello everybody, welcome back to Dr. Hannah Dana and Linguistics channel. I hope that you are all doing very well. Now, if you remember, my last video was about a number of sentence relations, amongst which were entailment and presupposition. And I ended that video wondering how we can tell whether pairs of sentences exhibit entailment or presupposition. Now, before we start to answer the question, let me remind you of those two particular relations. To start with, we said entailment is when we have two sentences, A and B, and if sentence A is true, then sentence B is automatically true. Let's have a look at the following two examples. The first one is Jem boiled an egg, and then we have Jem cooked an egg. Jem boiled an egg and Jem cooked an egg. Now, if Jem boiled an egg, then he cooked it. So if sentence A is true, then sentence B is definitely true. Hence, we say sentence A entails sentence B. We also said that the other way around is not necessarily correct. That is to say, the fact that Jem cooked an egg does not entail boiling it. He might have fried it or so. The second relation that we talked about was presupposition. Presupposition, where we have a sentence that consists of two pieces of information, a presupposed piece of information and a new one. And if you remember, we call the presupposed knowledge the backgrounded information or the backgrounded knowledge, or even we called it the downgraded information. And the new information, or we called it the highlighted piece of information or the highlighted knowledge. Now, let's have a look at this example. The Mayor of London visited Singapore. The Mayor of London visited Singapore. We have the presupposed idea, which is the fact that there is a mayor in London. This is the presupposed idea. There is a mayor in London. And the highlighted knowledge or the highlighted idea is the fact that he visited Singapore. He visited Singapore. Okay, now let's go back to our question. How can we tell whether a pair of sentences exhibits entailment or presupposition? Now, this is our question. How can we test whether the relation between any two given sentences is entailment or presupposition? Now, John Said introduced us to some kind of a test, and he called it the negation test. Okay. Now, this John Said posits that if we negate sentence A or the first sentence and the relation no longer exists between the sentences, in other words, we say the truth value of the second sentence is questioned, okay, we are dealing with entailment. But if we negate the sentence and the downgraded idea or the backgrounded idea remains intact, we are dealing actually with presupposition. Let's test the examples that we have been discussing a moment ago. Jem boiled an egg and Jem cooked an egg. Now, if we negate sentence A, sentence B is either true or false. Sentence B is either true or false. So the truth value of sentence B, okay, is questioned actually. So the relation between the two sentences fades away. All right. Jem did not boil an egg. Jem did not boil an egg. So we don't know whether he cooked it or he didn't. So the relation between A and B is no longer there. In this case, sentence B is either true or false. Therefore, there is no evidence that he cooked an egg. Therefore, what we have here is actually, if negating the first sentence causes a loss of the relation between the two given sentences, we are dealing with entailment. We are dealing with entailment. On the other hand, this vanished relation is not the case when the relationship we are talking about or we are testing is presupposition. All right? Now, the Mayor of London visited Singapore. Let's try and negate this sentence. We say Of course, the presupposed idea is that there is a mayor in London, or the downgraded idea is that there is a mayor in London. Now, if we negate sentence A, and we said that the mayor of London did not visit Singapore, this negation does not affect the fact that London has a mayor. So what we have here is actually still there is a mayor in London. This downgraded piece of knowledge is true, and the fact that A presupposes B has not been affected by negating A. So if negating the first sentence does not affect the relation between A and B, we are dealing with presupposition. Okay, now I will leave you with the following pairs of sentences to think of and try and test whether they are actually related in a presupposition or entailment relation. Okay, number 1, A and B. Dave is angry because Jim crashed the car. B, Jim crashed the car. The second pair of sentences, everyone passed the examination, no one failed the examination. The third pair of sentences, the minister blamed his secretary for leaking the news to the press, and B, the news was leaked to the press. Okay, this is all for today's session. Hope that you have found it helpful. For those who are interested, these are the references I used today. Okay, thank you very much for being with me. Thank you very much for listening, and see you soon. Please stay safe and stay healthy.